Rob Parker is here. He's got a new book out. It's called If I'm Writing, I'm Ripping, available Monday on Amazon, a collection of some of his best work through the years. Show it here, Rob.
There we go.
There we go. And you have
everybody in sports America is rippable. Remember that. Everybody.
No, there has to be somebody you had trouble criticizing.
The hardest one was Hank Aaron.
He's like the most gentleman. You criticized Hank Aaron.
I ripped Hank Aaron because he wouldn't take a side in the Barry Bonds about Barry Bonds breaking his record. And it wasn't that he had to agree with it, but he had to say something. It was his record. Well, he's very. And Hank wouldn't say anything on either side.
Let me guess. You criticized LeBron and Tom Brady a lot.
Yeah, I think they made the book as well.
Let's start with this Cowboy-Dallas matchup. Mohamed Sanu is out. I said, maybe I'm overstating it, Rob Parker joining us, but I said if Mohamed Sanu is out, their offense now is down to Julian Edelman, no deep threat, no Gronk. If Dallas doesn't win this, Jason Garrett Monday, on every show in America that does what we do, Jason Garrett's a 5-star hot seat. Is that fair?
That's fair, but my problem and why I'm still going to pick the Patriots, and trust me, I'm between a rock and a hard place picking Tom Brady or the fraudulent Cowboys. And this is where it is because I'm still going to rely on the defense. Tom Brady's played terrible. I call him Terrible Tom the last 7 weeks. 7 touchdowns, 5 picks.
Yes.
He just hasn't played well, but their defense has really won most of their games. Here's the problem with the Cowboys and Dak. They haven't beaten a team that has a record of above 500 or better. The teams that they've beaten are all also ran. They've beaten the Giants twice, the Dolphins, all bad teams. And the Eagles is the only win that they had where they had a team that was 500 at 5-5. So they haven't beaten anybody. Think about the losses. They lost to all playoff teams. They lost to Green Bay.
Saints.
The Saints. Remember, the Saints didn't even score a touchdown in that game and beat the Cowboys. Minnesota. So there's 3 playoff teams.
And Green Bay and Minnesota were both home games.
Exactly. And they lost to the Jets. So when I look at Dak Prescott talk about he's going to be in the MVP conversation, I mean, Colin, the only thing that has more value is probably the cubic zirconia you brought your wife when you first started working.
You just don't buy it. Now, do you buy into Lamar Jackson in Baltimore?
Yeah, I do. I think that they could beat the Patriots eventually, in the playoffs and have a chance at it. I do.
Do you think? I think Russell Wilson's the MVP easily. But what do you make? Are they getting ahead of themselves? Or are you comfortable with him being an MVP? Baltimore being the favorite over New England eventually?
I like what Lamar Jackson and what the Ravens have done, but I think people are way, way, way about where it's going, the future of football. Name me that guy who's won a Super Bowl, that quarterback doing what he's done. You go look, you got stiffs standing there in the pocket who normally win Super Bowls. So until one of those guys can do it, and people forget, as good as Lamar Jackson is, last year he took the league by storm. They went to the playoffs, and what happened? The Chargers saw him twice in a few weeks and stopped him completely in the playoff game. So there's a recipe out there. It hasn't been done yet. But let them win a playoff game before we crown guys. I think we're too quick to crown people.
Oh, no, listen, it's interesting. They're only a 3.5-point favorite over the Rams. So Vegas is telling you either the Rams are better than we think or hold on Baltimore. The Rams have a player, Eric Weddle, former Raven, now a Rams, safety, great player, going to be a Hall of Famer, I think, saying, I'm not giving my team now, the Rams, any information about Baltimore. How does that sit with you?
Not good at all. I mean, I don't know if I want that guy on my team. I'm serious. That makes no sense. You're not there for a reason, right? You're not there. What do you owe an old organization? You don't owe anybody anything, right? When you were there, you did your job. If I have some knowledge or information, right? You're not cheating. I know this. This is common knowledge, and they're probably going to make changes anyway, but you should tell people what it is you know. I don't know. I find that to be
Joe, how does
shocking.
See, because when I go to companies and if they ask me questions, I'll say, yeah, this is my former employer's weak spot. Here's where they're good. Here's where they're weak. Here are the people that are underrated you should hire. Here are the people that are overrated. Stay away. I kind of think like you go to a new company. I wouldn't sell out a friend of mine, but a company weak spot, like I think.
Well, first of all, isn't he on another team?
Yeah, I know.
So they weren't very loyal to him.
That's what I'm saying. What does he owe them?
And second, does he also not believe in scouting? It just doesn't make sense. Like if you're talking about, tell us about this guy's injury or
that's different.
That's totally
something like
different.
that. Like that's unethical, and some people don't even feel like that is because they have an injury report. So there's ethical lines to it, I suppose. But the idea that you're not going to say, on fourth down they like to run this play. Huh? It doesn't even make sense.
Is Eric working for Heinz? He's going to give us the recipe for the ketchup? I mean, I'm just like, here's the secret ingredient they put in. That would be totally different.
I mean, he can live his life however he wants to. It just fundamentally doesn't make sense in this environment.
So you're going to have to admit now, this is going to be very difficult for you. LeBron James is the best point guard in the league. You cannot deny his numbers. He'd be MVP today with James Harden. He has made this puppy work so much faster than I thought. Defensively, they're fantastic. They're the longest team in the league. Offensively, it is like he and Danny Green and Kuzma and Davis have played together for a decade. Acknowledge this hurts for you.
It doesn't hurt. I'm going to tell you, though, pump the brakes, Laker fans and LeBron James. I have no idea what LeBron James is doing in year 17, this revenge tour to prove something. You know when it matters? Colin, in the playoffs. So LeBron could do all this, pile up all these numbers, do all this, and he better not be worn down or hobbled or anything come playoff time, because that's when it really matters. I'm not saying he should take nights off, load management, but what he's doing and what he's trying to prove, I don't understand. It's November. It's a long NBA season. You know this. What are you trying to prove? Everybody knows you're a great player. It's just piling up stats to pile up stats. Do you really need to win NBA games by 30 or 40 points in November?
No, I think the one thing I worry about is the Lakers are old. Danny Green, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Rondo, JaVale McGee, Jarrett Dudley.
They're one of the oldest teams in the league.
Yeah, so I mean, now I will say LeBron's only paying 34, 35 minutes a night, so he's not doing that taxing 43-minute thing, but you think he's just going... He's all in. I'll say that when I watch.
I just think this is all for show, and I'm sorry, long term, and nobody wants to hear it because it's not as sexy, but the Clippers will be right where they need to be. They'll be ready. They're a great defensive team. Look at what they've done. The games they lost when Kawhi hasn't played. They haven't even had their guys played one game together, right? Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. They still have 10 wins. Nobody's running away from them. Think about it.
If I'm writing, I'm ripping. Available Monday on Amazon. Rob Parker, co-host of The Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio with Chris Broussard. Put that book up one more time.
One
Amazon
more time.
Monday.
There you go.
Now, by the way, my father was a traveler. My late father went to Russia. He went to Egypt, Europe. My dad loved travel. I grew up with National Geographic magazines all over my room. My dad loved travel. So as a kid, it was Sports Illustrated and National Geographic. In fact, I think I was subscribed to that until about 10 years ago. You are going on a week trip here very soon. Tell the audience where you're going.
I'm going to Antarctica, and Colin, it's my 7th and final continent. I've traveled all over the world. I love to travel. I love to see new things. And this is going to be life-changing for me because just being a kid growing up in Jamaica, Queens, and New York, I fantasized about traveling the world and seeing different things. I've been to Egypt, Australia.
My dad loved Egypt.
Just fascinating, Egypt. I went inside the pyramid, the Sphinx. I saw all of that. I took a cruise on the Nile River. I floated in the Dead Sea in Israel. I could just go on and on and on.
Israel's supposed to be. Doug Gottlieb played basketball in Israel. I have a friend that's in Israel. He said it's the most beautiful place he's ever been.
It is just unbelievable. And just to go... And I know people are saying, "Oh, you got 6 continents. What do you need to go to Antarctica?"
That's what everybody's saying.
But I want to go. I do, huh? Right?
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, and nobody knows anybody who's been to Antarctica. You?
You're right.
Nobody.
That's true.
I'll be the guy you'll know.
Yeah, you know what? And then when you come back, I'll be like, "Hey, I was thinking about you. Where do you get a burger there?
Nothing there.
The nightclub, the night scene." Say hi to the Penguins for us.
Me and the Penguins will be the only black guys in there.
Oh, stop. God. Rob Parker, if I'm writing, I'm ripping. Amazon Monday. Good seeing you, bud. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.